Welcome to the mind of Lancescurv, the most creatively profound man in cyberspace.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Lancescurv. I have been under the weather somewhat and very, very busy with some very important things. You know, when you plant a seed sometimes, and not even sometimes, all the time, it doesn't sprout up right away. You're planting. What you do plant, when it finally sprouts, it finally comes out, the world will see what you've been planting all along, much to their surprise. That's about all I'll say right now. But I want to jump right on this. The title is Time-Wasting Indulgences That Add Up to a Wasted Life. Let me tell you, time, I always say, is an artificial construct. And the bottom line is that it goes slower when you're younger and speeds up when you're faster. And that's your perception of time. But many of us talk about what we're going to do, and a lot of us never do it. And the bottom line is because we have a lot of cheap filler in our life that takes up time and keeps us from producing a legacy where others can benefit from it after we expire and transition. In the hustle and bustle of our youth, it's easy to succumb to indulgences that seem harmless at the time, but ultimately lead to a life devoid of meaning and substance. As we grow older, the passage of time becomes more apparent, and we begin to reflect on how we've spent our days. It's a sobering realization that prompts us to reevaluate our priorities and strive for a life of purpose. In this discussion, we'll delve deep into 20 frivolous activities that can derail our journey towards fulfillment and leave us a sense of regret. Do you want that? Do you want a sense of regret? No matter how much time you spent on this earth, no matter how long you've been on it or how short, it's never too late to be able to let go of these things which really open the door for a better life. Chasing after superficial relationships. Many young men and women invest significant time and energy in pursuing fleeting romantic encounters based solely on physical attraction. These relationships often lack depth and meaning, leaving individuals feeling empty and unfulfilled in the long run. Number one. Alcohol abuse as an escape. Turning to alcohol to numb emotional pain or escape from reality may provide temporary relief, but it ultimately damages our physical health, mental well-being, in relationships. What starts as a coping mechanism can quickly spiral into addiction and dependency. Leave that stuff alone. Compulsive gambling. The thrill of gambling and the promise of quick riches can be all-consuming, leading individuals to gamble away their savings, jeopardize their financial security, and strain relationships. What begins as a harmless pastime can escalate into a destructive addiction with devastating consequences. Number what now? 4? We're getting down to the numbers. Look, I'm not going to count these anymore. We're just going to go through them. Here we go, y'all. Extramarital affairs. Seeking validation or excitement outside of a committed relationship can have catastrophic effects on marriages and families. Infidelity erodes trust, shatters emotional bonds, and leaves a trail of heartache and betrayal in its wake. I'll say for all involved. Next, reckless spending. Living beyond one's means and indulging in frivolous purchases can lead to financial instability and debt. Material possessions may provide temporary gratification, but true wealth lies in financial security and peace of mind. Let me tell you something. The worst feeling to get to a certain age and realize you are in debts that seem impossible to pay off legally. It could be a mess. It could be a domino effect of a mess. I know several people like that right now. Their lives are cut off and they're hating the world for it. Next, social media obsession. Spending excessive amounts of time on social media platforms, obsessing over likes, followers, and virtual validation can detract from real-life connections and meaningful experiences. It's easy to get caught up in the facade of a curated online persona, losing touch with authentic human connection. I have to say, I've been very blessed to keep that at a distance, not obsess over it. But I know so many people who it's a drug to them. Grown people who should know better. I used to do a whole lot more than I do these days, but I do it according to feeling. I have to be motivated to do what I do, which I'm always motivated, but I'm not going to run something down every day when there's beautiful sunsets, beautiful sunrises, beautiful people, quiet peace of mind, especially the way the world is going right now. Big distraction this thing could be. Next, binging on streaming services. While entertainment is a valuable form of relaxation, mindlessly consuming hours of content on streaming platforms can become a time sink, detracting from more enriching activities and personal growth opportunities. Next, procrastination. Putting off important tasks and responsibilities in favor of immediate gratification or avoidance of discomfort can lead to missed opportunities, increased stress, and a perpetual cycle of unfulfilled potential. That's really sad. Mindless internet surfing, which a lot of us do early in the morning before we get out of bed, laying there 2 hours before we even step foot on the floor. Aimlessly browsing the internet for hours on end, clicking from one link to another without purpose or direction, can consume valuable time and mental energy without yielding any meaningful outcomes. Unfortunately, these are the people you will find dead at the keyboard. That's my turn. My turn. Next, overindulgence in junk food. Indulging in unhealthy eating habits not only takes a toll on physical health, but also contributes to low energy levels, diminishing productivity, and a lack of vitality needed to pursue meaningful goals. Many of us treat our cars better than we do our bodies. There are obvious signs that can tell a sick person, obviously sick. Sometimes you can't. When you see certain physical signs and they're not even caring about it, you're like, what are you trying to kill yourself? Next, obsessive comparisons. Constantly measuring one's worth against others, whether in terms of possessions, achievements, or appearance, breeds feelings of inadequacy and discontentment, detracting from gratitude and self-acceptance. That gratitude and self-acceptance is very important. You all well know many years ago, I competed heavily in the sport of bodybuilding. 16 years old to 22 years old. I accept who I am. It gave me a confidence beyond the physical. And that's just something you can't get. Whatever it is that you do good, be gracious and be grateful for it. And we all fall short in other areas where we may not be able to compare to somebody else. It's okay. Here's a saying that I always use. Everybody is a little stupid in something. Now, I don't mean to say people are stupid. All I'm saying is that when you see a scholar who knows so much, or a person who has so much, or whatever area they're great in, not to put them down, but if they try to intimidate you or make you feel like less, say that to yourself. Everybody's a little stupid in something. So no matter how great they are in one area, there's things they don't know. And we have to take ourselves that way. We're not going to know everything because every year that passes by, every day that passes by, every hour that passes by, there's something new to be discovered, that we can learn. We're not going to get over. Be thankful for what you got. Next, gossiping. engaging in gossip and spreading the rumors about others not only reflects poorly on one's character, but also fosters a toxic environment of mistrust and negativity, undermining genuine relationships and community cohesion. Community cohesion. You don't want to join on to anyone who runs up and down the town, the state, the city, wherever you are with your name in their mouth, saying bad things and slights and planting seeds of doubt. You can be near them, but you can separate. You can be in the world, but you don't have to be of it. And you damn sure don't have to be part of their world, especially when they're a double agent smiling in your face, trying to siphon energy because they're secretly envious of the promise of a wonderful life that you're going to have and what you have right now. Because many of these people are hopeless. Many of these people have major issues in their life that they know that they can't overcome. Now, certain things you can overcome. And I'm not being negative and say, well, Lance, you should not say they can't do it because with God, yeah. But in this system, there's certain things you ain't getting away from. Don't be mad at me. I didn't do it to you. Don't gossip about me. Maybe you can use the positive in my life to inspire. Until then, we must be separated. Know what I mean? Next, pursuing empty achievements. Chasing after accolades or accomplishments for the sake of external validation rather than personal fulfillment can lead to a hollow sense of achievement and a perpetual cycle of seeking validation from others. It goes back to what we were saying about chasing likes and followers. How many of these people do you really know? Can you call them up when you're in need? Many of them will call you up when they're in need, right? On a mental, physical, spiritual, emotional area. And I'm going to talk about that. The energy thieves in our lives and why they do this. That's probably going to be my next discussion, my next show. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I don't know. But and how to get around that. Not just saying who they are. We already know who they are. I've done countless shows on that. But how to get around it. How I survived on social media without letting that suck me down. And just in real life, right? Next, living in the past. Dwelling on past mistakes, regrets, or missed opportunities prevents individuals from embracing the present moment and moving forward with purpose and resilience. You can think about the past. You'll learn things about your past that you didn't know by your present situations, which will make for a better future. Not to dwell in it. Oh, this girlfriend of mine, I broke up with her. It could have been different. And that's 20, 30, 40 years ago. Yeah, it could have been different, but it didn't happen. Your life is where it is now. Make the right decisions now so your future will be better, as opposed to thinking about the past and you're not making the right decisions in the present, so you don't even know where your future is going to go. That is so crazy. I can't do it. Those phone calls with me end because so many of us are not spending our time wisely to move to the future while enjoying the present, because it's the present that you have. You have nothing else but the present. Let's do it the right way. Next, excessive self-indulgence. Prioritizing personal pleasure and gratification above all else can lead to a shallow and self-centered existence, devoid of meaningful connections and contributions to others. You kind of like choke yourself off when you live that way, when it's all about you all the time and your pleasure and your gratification. Now, when you stay to yourself, hey, I've been working a couple of doubles in the last couple of months. I'm going to go to a nice restaurant. I know it's expensive. This is what I want to do. I want to go out and get some sushi, all you can eat joint. That's what I want to do. I just want to stay home one night. You might take a sip of a little wine or whatever. That's your business. It's your choice. Make sure it's not a bad substance, super bad, right? But you got to live. But don't let it become something where it's excessive self-indulgence, because that's really selfish. Because who's going to want to be around you when you're just excessively indulging in self and their only purpose around your life is to serve them? You're not a pawn on their board. You have your own life too. If they want to do that, they'll lose relationships. They'll find themselves in a very, very lonely place. Next, ignoring personal growth. Failing to invest time and effort in self-improvement learning, and personal development limits one's potential for growth and fulfillment, resulting in a stagnant and unfulfilled life. Stagnant. Again, I see people, sometimes daily, who live stagnant lives. I don't want that near me. And if it's near me, I'm going to separate because I don't want that stagnant mentality to mess up my world, toxicity to mess up my world. No, I'm here to help. But if you're like a pit of quicksand, why would I find myself looking to swim in a pit of quicksand that's going to suck me down? I want to continually go up. I want to continually have a hopeful life where I could plan and say, hey, Creator willing, this is what I'm going to do today. As long as the Creator in the universe signs off with that, I'm good. But I should be getting incrementally better in a chosen area of expertise daily, incrementally, moving towards something. I could not just sit around and stare at the stars and stare at the trees and just sit there and stare at everybody else and talk bad about them and have nothing going on. No, I always have something going on. Even if you don't see me online doing something every day, I always got something going on. Unless I choose to say, I am not doing anything today, I'm going to rest. And I've learned that. Today is Saturday, April 6, 2024. 2 more days during the solar eclipse. I turned 61. And I have just as much juice in my fruit than ever before. But right now, I learned to pace myself now because I want to go even further in this phase of my life because my thoughts are deeper. I put in the work and I proved it. So my thing is personal growth, mentally, physically, and spiritually, maintaining myself and making myself even better because this is the sweetest part of life when you get to this point and you did the right thing in life. Next, addiction to screens. Excessive screen time, whether on smartphones, tablets, or computers, can disrupt sleep patterns, strain eyesight, and diminish social interactions, the real kind, leading to feelings of isolation and disconnection from the world around us. I'm so glad I moved up into the mountains. I'm so glad that, I'm building a nice little wall around. I don't have to see anything. I don't have to be around anything that will pull me out of who I'm supposed to be. But the enemy really can be us. We can be locked away, secured, and we're on them screens. But I've cut back on that time. It only has to be when I'm creating something or really talking to a loved one. We do FaceTime and stuff like that. That's cool. In the good old-fashioned telephone conversations, but again, mindlessly thumbing through stuff and just not contributing. That's like going to the beach on a hot sunny day with just like you're going to a black tie affair. You're not getting you're just standing there watching people at the beach. Or go to the restaurant and don't eat. Or go to the concert with headphones on. Right? Or go stargazing, but you have like a mask over your face to cover your eyes so you can sleep, the little covering. That's crazy. I want to be there at the moment. I don't want to be somewhere and watching the screen. Real human interaction with real humans, not the fake variety, not the representative of whatever. You gotta be real. If not, keep it stepping. I don't even want to have eye contact with you. Those screens are just as bad. Lose yourself from that, unless it's something constructive that you can see something that made you better at the end of the day. But the mindless stuff and that addiction to the screens, no, forget about it. Next, avoiding emotional introspection. Refusing to confront and address underlying emotions, traumas, or insecurities perpetuates, I'm sorry, both of them are good, patterns of self-sabotage and emotional stagnation, hindering personal growth and fulfillment. You see, I know people who, instead of looking within, you know what they do? They try to pull people into another world of pretend on, so they don't have to focus on who they are. That's the crazy part. Like, if a person's real with them and says, hey, this is what it is, man, you need to grow in this area. From what I see, you need to improve in this area, that area. It's like they don't want to see you. They want you to live their delusion, So they're not going to deal with the introspection because it's your fault. It's always somebody on the outside. No, it's their fault. It was her fault that we broke up. It was my in-laws that did this. It was my neighbors that, it's always somebody else. And they will convince you how perfect they are, but then after a while you'll see the flaws, which we all have flaws. But the flaws are only toxic when we refuse to acknowledge them and we refuse to work on them. That's the bottom line. See? Neglecting relationships is the next one. Taking loved ones for granted and failing to invest time and effort in nurturing meaningful connections can lead to loneliness, regret, and a sense of isolation in later years. Let me tell you something. There are people in your life who will take you for granted, and they know they're taking you for granted, and they take you for a fool. And after years of neglect of the proximity that you're supposed to have, here they come with an excuse, and I was wrong, and I was just. It's because they need you. See, especially family, especially the inner circle, right? If it meant something to them, they would be there. Sometimes we get busy and we don't talk to each other or call each other for a while, but years and years and years, and then they had a gripe or something against you, but now they're needy and older and realize they were wrong. Look, I'm sorry. When you know what you're doing, you got to face the consequences. You made that bed, and you got to lay in it. Maybe I'm crueler in my older years, but that's the way it is for me. Don't take me for a fool. Don't take me for a fool. Stay where you are. You made your bed. You lay in it. Next, fear of failure. Allowing fear of failure to dictate one's choices and actions stifles creativity, innovation, and personal growth, trapping individuals in a cycle of mediocrity and unfulfilled potential. You see, the procrastination, the fear of failure, wanting everything to be perfect, hey, like Nike, or if you call it Nike or Nike, just do it. Don't be afraid. Move forward. Stop limiting yourself and analyzing yourself. Go out there and just do it. I'm not afraid to do it. I mean what I say and I say what I mean. I am who I am and I know who I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. No, I'm not. Don't want to be him. But yeah, sometimes we self-analyze ourselves. Fear of failure into that mediocrity trap. Not me. Let me be famous for attempting something and so-called failing it 1,000,000 times, then holding back, not trying something, and I had the potential for doing it. They say he never tried. No, not going to be the case with me. And it's in so many areas. And right now in my life, there's so many new things to do, real things to do, real things to do, real vibrations. I might have to record. I got to write some more notes down, or maybe go live. I don't know, on this next thing about maintaining your energy in the social media world and in the real world. It is vicious out here. I don't want to start going off on that tangent, but I just want to say, as we reflected on these 20 time-wasting indulgences, it becomes clear that the choices we make today shape the trajectory of our lives tomorrow. By cultivating mindfulness, self-awareness, and a commitment to meaningful pursuits, we can break free from the cycle of mediocrity and create a life of purpose, fulfillment, and lasting impact. Time to embrace changes now before it's too late. Make every moment count. For those who want to sit and be stagnant, watch me. And don't be mad as I go places. Not only just physical places, but life is meant to be lived. We're so constipated with regrets. We're so constipated with the fear of failure. We're so constipated with lack of introspection and taking people for granted. We're so constipated that we can't move. Your emotional, mental, and spiritual bowels will not move. Imagine if you didn't have the rear end and we had to walk around with all of the feces inside of us. We wouldn't live too long now, would we? Well, so many of us walk around mental, spiritual, and emotional craziness from the past that we should let go and move on. But no, we just render ourselves useless. We sit there and do nothing. Time-wasting indulgences that add up to a wasted life. I just want to thank you for being here. I'm going to make sure maybe this evening and go ahead and write down and jot down some notes like I did with this one, and come with something else that's just as important. This wasn't super long, but I hope it was effective, and I hope you enjoyed it. Matter of fact, love you all. On to the next one. Lancescurv out. Leave your comments, and always go to Lancescurv.com and leave your comments. What I might start doing, y'all, I might force the issue and make it where you can't comment on these other platforms who remove you as subscribers. Delete your comments. Leave it on Lancescurv.com. You know why? Because that's where the discussion will continue, because I will always respond to you there. We got to stop feeding into these social media platforms and hit the mom and pop type situation that I am for all these years that I've been out here. How long now? 23 years in the game. The enemy can never take that away. But I'll drop this link for this particular show. That's going to be on the Lancescurv.com blog, so you can comment there. Anyway, much love to you all. Take care. On to the next one. Peace.
Make sure to go to Lancescurv.com, an online magazine established in 2001, containing written articles, thousands of talk shows and discussions, cutting-edge cartoons, as well as erotic expressions and tasteful adult photography. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Once you get a taste of the world of Lancescurv, trust me, you'll be back for more. Lancescurv.com